Mystery, especially if you're a short guy who's very spindly and opinionated and somewhat of a douche. Oh wait, actually it suddenly makes a lot of sense. Because you needed to protect you from people who I'm just totally throwing him under the bus here, aren't I? Maybe I'm being too harsh. In fact, I'm definitely being too harsh. That's actually quite nasty, isn't it? I'm just such a bastard today. I think I know what it is. I'm broadcasting at night instead of during the day, because we're pre-recording the shows now, ladies and gentlemen. And right now it's like in the middle of the night kind of thing. And yeah, I'm not normally this kind of like all over the place during the but hey, hopefully you'll forgive me. I may never be forgiven, like, honestly. I've been thinking about penance for my sins. I don't know. Sometimes I just shock and shame myself. I don't know. Has this ever happened to you, Shane? Where you do something, you're just totally ashamed for yourself, and you never forget it. I think I'll never forget this particular broadcast. God, I've said some fucking shameful things. It's just out of control. Well, I'm really going for it. Okay, anyway, sorry. I want to ask you a couple of questions as well. In terms of your political leaning, in terms of leaning left and whatnot, and knowing about the global elite and the banksters, and getting into a lot of the esoteric studies like UFOs and what have you, how do you feel about actually, how can you vote when you know about the geopolitical situation that kind of counteracts your vote?
Well, I think the way I look at it there is that it's not necessarily a negation. I can vote or I can not vote. But, if I think the best way to put this, because it's a common argument, if you don't believe in the system, then why should you partake in it? And I think that it's a bit disingenuous to think that you can't do both. You can't work. I mean, you can. There's no reason you can't vote, but still disagree with the system that's set up around that. And I don't think not voting in particular changes that in any way. No one's sitting there going, "Oh, he didn't vote. Oh, let's tear the whole thing down and start again." So I think there's no inherent contradiction in voting and still thinking that the system's not ideal.
Well, I understand that side of things, and just remembering what Ian Wishart told me is it's basically, I think this is the outset of the 2012 election. He says it's just shuffling chairs on the frickin' Titanic, Mm-hmm. And ultimately that's it. I mean, it doesn't matter who you vote for. Things always just keep getting worse and worse and worse. Less freedom, more tyranny, more taxes, more scumbaggery, less enjoyment out of life, basically. Right? Mm-hmm. The frackers have got the system all stitched up, and the part of the argument of not voting, which I think is actually quite a valid argument, because if you do vote, you're giving your consent to the system. But ironically enough, if you don't vote, you're still consenting to the system, because you're not actually doing anything against it, are you? And I was thinking about this the other day. You can participate in politics however much you want. You can participate into it on a weekend basis. Once every 4 years, though? Come on! Is that how much interest you take in what direction every single life in your nation goes? Is that how much you care? Show up once in a while, every 4 years or so, for a couple of minutes, to tick a frickin' box, and you think you're going to make the world a better place? It's just insanity, It's too little, too late. What's your thoughts on that, Shane?
Yeah, I mean, totally reasonable. There's no point in being politically engaged once every 4 years. It's ridiculous. I mean, the engagement should be there on a day-to-day basis. I wouldn't actively discourage anyone from voting no matter what, as long as they take the time to actually think about who they're voting for and why. And whoever you vote for is up to you, but read everyone's shit, read what they're doing, who's doing it, who they are and why, and vote based on that, and that's it. But yeah, part of that, understanding who you're voting for and why, as being politically engaged before the campaigning starts through the rest of the year, through the rest of the 3 years.
Well, I mean, it's a hell of a lot less... it's a hell of a lot easier to get suckered if you're not paying frickin' attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's our problem. Maybe people have gotten complacent enough that they actually are quite comfortable being suckered, and they just go, oh well, resign to defeat. Hey, incidentally, do you know why Arabs throw their shoes at their enemy?
No.
To show them defeat.
No.
You get it?
Yeah.
Hey, and you're into UFOs. Here's a good joke for you. What do aliens use to patch up their broken spaceships?
What's that?
Abduct tape. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah.
I told that to a guy at the music festivals over the weekend. You hear him cackle for miles, You know, it was just a crappy pun, bro. Jesus, hold yourself, boy. It could be worse. All right. Well, anyway, Shane, we're coming up to the end of this. Do you have anything you want to promote, bro?
Actually, not at the moment. This is, funnily enough, everything I'm working on is either already been and done or on its way. Here we go. A friend of mine runs a website called Cheese on Toast, and they put out a mixtape of New Zealand bands doing songs against the GCSB bill. So maybe have a look on that. It's cheeseontoast.co.nz.
All right, well, make sure you Skype message that one to me. cheeseontoast.co.nz.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. You really do need some kind of a presence in the entertainment industry, getting politically active. I like that whole spirit of the 60s. You ever hear about that kind of stuff? I mean, obviously neither of us were there to experience it, but apparently there was this real politically active time where artists made music that frickin' mattered, that wasn't about bitches. Okay? And my foal by foal, and my cannabis crop, okay? Stuff that matters, hip hop before it got corrupted, kind of thing, things with a message. Wouldn't that be nice? I can dream. Unfortunately, my dreams hardly ever come true, but I feel better dreaming about it. Okay, well, come to the end of the show. Shane Warbrooke, thank you very much for your time and your efforts, and your. I can't believe you actually sent an Official Information Act request asking if John Key was a shape-shifting reptile that wanted to enslave the human race, and they didn't say no. It's almost to be expected, actually.
Yeah.
We can never confirm nor deny that he's a sociopathic scumbaggery criminal alien scum. Of course you can.
Oh, man.
It almost makes sense, in an ideal world, Hey, is John Key a shape-shifting reptile thing that eats babies and whatnot? You know what? He might just be. Okay. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. John Key's a reptoid. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for listening, ladies and gentlemen, to this wonderful episode of the Vinnie Eastwood Show. Hope it hasn't been too, I believe risque would be the appropriate word. Inappropriate, considering it's quite an inappropriate show. Anyway, Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Go to thevinnieeastwoodshow.com, and the studio and everything is up and running now, so we want to have more interviews with more guests and stuff like that, if whenever possible. So you can just email everything through. Go to the contact page at thevinnieeastwoodshow.com, and of course, don't forget to start up an automatic payment into that Kiwi bank account and whatnot, so we can, keep paying the bills, keep interviewing activists, doctors, lawyers, politicians, the ones that aren't corrupt, and are there any of those? There must be. I'll find some if there aren't any. I'll give up in disgrace if I can't find a non-corrupt politician. Okay. In fact, bugger it. I'm not even going to bother. They're all corrupt. I'm just joking. I just can't be stopped today. Like, what is wrong with me? What the hell is wrong with me? Okay. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again sometime, ladies and gentlemen.